though I am working on the outline. I do have a wife, kids, and a mortgage, and a day job. And my kids, my older kid, he's old enough to be embarrassed by me now. He's 7. My mortgage is the kind of mortgage where like every time I pay it, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money. And yet that's still so much more money that I still owe. And I have a job where I wear a tie and work in teams. And I'm not in charge of anything, but it matters if I forget to thank somebody. So these days I'm trying to be more present. If someone's talking to me, I try to listen. And so I'm noticing things, I'm learning lessons. Turns out conversations are complicated. First thing I noticed with this new me, voicemail messages. Has anyone here left a voicemail in the last 5 years? So I started listening to people's voicemail out messages at work. And invariably they say something like, "You've reached so-and-so, please leave a message." I don't know why I didn't notice this before, but I would just like to point out that this is pervasive and factually inaccurate. I mean, if you reach the person, you wouldn't have to leave a voicemail, right? It's a lie. The whole thing's a lie. So a couple of months ago, I was at a kid's birthday party with my kid. And other parents were there too, with their kids. And this one mom said that she worked for the Washington Wizards basketball team. So I immediately responded that she should get us free courtside tickets for a play date. I said it kind of in a joking way, but I didn't say I was joking, because I wasn't. She didn't say anything back, but she did give me this look. And then my 7-year-old also gave me this look. And I tried to read what they were meaning. And I think they meant to say that, I said the wrong thing. You shouldn't assume that everybody likes basketball. And that was wrong. Now that I did that, it feels like there's this space between us. It's a thing constantly left unsaid. And I know this because every time I see her now, the first thing I think is, don't say basketball. The other day, I got my morning coffee with a female colleague. She told me she was pregnant. I said, congrats. She added, well, we've been trying a long time. There's a lot of work. I thought to myself, she didn't need to say that last part. Sometimes when you say an outcome, the process is implied. And that's enough. Later that same day, I talked to a male colleague who got married last year. And he volunteered that they were trying to have a kid. Really hard, a lot. It was really hectic. He was really tired. They were trying so much. Now, I didn't say whether the previous colleague was good looking, because I'm not sure that's socially acceptable. But I'll say this about this guy. He's a good looking guy. He looks like he could be a Banana Republic model now. And because I said that, I think I can say this about his wife. She's a good looking woman. She looks like she could have been an Abercrombie model in high school. Now, all these people think it's totally fine in this context to tell me about all the unprotected sex they're having. And yet, I get the sense that it's not okay for me to have these images in my head. I'm not sure there's a lesson to that. I just feel really uncomfortable now. I thought I'd share. Yeah. So a few decades ago, when my dad was the age I am now, he bought our house, became a full professor, and his people got ethnically cleansed. Far away from where we were. We were fine. We had a new house. He had serious grown-up talks when each of these milestones happened. They're big moments for us. Recently, the people who ethnically cleansed our people are in the news now because of their human rights. This time around, they're pro-human rights. I'm glad they turned it around. I wish they had just done that. a little bit earlier. So I thought it was time for me to have a grown-up talk with my son. You know, grown-up conversation about religious persecution and ethno-nationalism. So I asked him if he knew what religion is. He said he did. I asked him if he knew what our religion is. So he looked down, thought for a bit, looked back up to me, was quiet for a bit, and I could feel it, like we were having this moment. It felt like this was about to be a moment that we were both going to remember. I felt like I was being a grown-up dad. And then he said, vegetarian? Well, he's 7, but FYI, nobody in our house is vegetarian. So I think the lesson here was, moments have their time, and this just was not that for that moment. Now that we're all here, in this time we're present, I started making efforts to connect with people, and you happen to be here. Maybe we can have a conversation about how we might become friends, or not. See, a 2018 study in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that it takes about 50 hours of time together to become casual friends, and about 200 hours of time together to become close friends. Considering I have about 5 to 7 minutes left here, we're either doomed to fail, or we're going to go over our time by about 49 hours and 45 minutes. That said, these two guys with the lifestyle advice podcast I listen to say that other scientists say that it's really all about sharing. So I'll go first. Last year, my wife and I went out on Halloween weekend for the first time in a long time. As we waded through a sea of 20-somethings in costumes in DuPont Circle, we came across a girl dressed as a mermaid, puking. Wasn't as gross as it sounds. It was all clear fluid. So she was kind of like a mermaid fountain, really. And we made eye contact for a moment. I like to think we have a story now. In her version, she'd probably say, and then I saw a guy who had the same hair as Jason Statham. But otherwise looked nothing like Jason Statham. He pointed at me and said, look, a mermaid fountain. That would be me. That was a level 1 share. That's a lighthearted anecdote about yourself and the world around you. Now, about eye contact. I'm actually not for it. Scientists say it's a big part of meaningful social connection, but I would say it's also a big part of conflict. Professor X and the X-Men made a lot of eye contact with Magneto, and they're not friends. Friends, teammates, allies are past all that. They stand side by side and look out at the world together. You know, they stare at the enemies, people they might fight. Personally, I'm not a fighter. I'm on flight. Very slow flight. I think that's why I like doing stand-up. Ideally with a blinding light in my face. From here, you're not individuals. You're a massive, moderate, living blob. Kind of like Jabba the Hutt. Say what you will about Jabba the Hutt, but he did like a good laugh. Now, anyone here in a relationship? Don't answer. It's a trick question. We all know. Pop culture tells you to only think about romantic relationships, but we're all in relationships with everyone we interact with, including at work, where we spend most of our time and energy. I know it shouldn't be so, but I'm just a bureaucrat office drone here. Note the tie. The other day, I complimented this one guy while talking to a coworker. She responded, yes, he does seem productive. Probably helps that he takes credit for my work. At that moment, I thought to myself, I regret starting this conversation by referring to myself in the third person. That said, in that guy's defense, stealing credit happens way more than falling in love. We just don't hear about it. You know, there's no Drake and or Taylor Swift song about it. There should be. That was a level 2 share. Beliefs and opinions about the world around you. Now, science and people with lifestyle advice podcasts say that you should show interest in people by asking them questions about yourself, about themselves. I've always worried there's a point where that becomes nosy. The first time I had a friendship end for reasons other than me moving away was in 8th grade. We had moved to a new town when I was 12, and I quickly became best friends with the coolest kid in junior high. And all the girls named Katie wanted to hang out with us. This was the Midwest in the mid-90s, so girls named Katie made up the majority of the girls at the time. And to be clear, they mainly wanted to hang out with him. In 8th grade, I started to look like Milhouse from The Simpsons. And he had always looked like Bart. So I started to worry that people would notice. And he just became more popular with the Katies. We drifted apart, stopped hanging out every weekend, and one day the events of one Saturday came up. I asked about him, and he said I was being nosy. And that Katie said that we should stop hanging out. I said I agreed with Katie. In the moment, I really wanted to ask though, which Katie? But I didn't, because I didn't want to be nosy. And that was the last time I ever asked anyone how their weekend was. So that was a level 3 share. Fears and insecurities about yourself and the world around you. Not necessarily about common everyday greetings, but they can be. So now we just went through all 3 levels of sharing, and you're still here. So science says that the next step is for you to invite me to hang out at another location at another time. Or you could just follow me on Instagram and like one of my posts once a month. On that note, that's my time. Thanks for yours.